Good evening everyone, and welcome to this slightly earlier version of Gundam News. As many of you might be aware, in Japan it is already Black Friday. So as a viewer of my channel, you can get a 1-hour head start on Hobbyling Japan's Black Friday sale if you use the link down below. And if you're watching this video a couple of hours later, by going through that link, you will still be supporting the channel by simply buying those amazing deals Hobbyling Japan has to offer. And talking about Black Friday deals, Gundam Breaker 3 will be going on sale on PlayStation Network, along with other Bamco titles like Tales of Arise, which by the way is also on sale on Steam, and SD Gundam was also on sale on Steam, so there's definitely going to be a lot of things to buy at this moment. But now, let's move on to our main topic of the week: more things you can buy. The announcements from Tamashii Nation's online event. And to say that this was significantly more exciting than the Gunpla news would be an understatement. First up, the announcements from the Metal Build series. Fans of the Crossbone series might not get too much love on the anime front, but they're definitely getting spoiled on the figure and Gunpla front. Because this time around it was announced that the Metal Build Crossbone Gundam X0 Full Cloth will go on sale on December the 3rd for 33,000 yen, around 300 US. And with that really nice looking silver color and those beam effect parts, I have no doubt that this is going to be a really impressive figure for your collection. Of course, it'll also come with a plethora of weapons like the multi-purpose Kujaku, Butterfly Buster, Beam Daggers, Beam Sabers, Scissor Anchors, and even the slow-burning high-heat bullet. So far, we only have images of the main unit, but all information will be released on December the 2nd, and the thing itself is currently slated for a May release. Something then that was announced almost a year ago was the Metal Build Hi-Nu Gundam. It seems like they're finally making some progress on the thing, although we don't have a price, release date, or even confirmed parts list yet. We do have some really nice promotional images. I gotta be honest though, a couple of months ago, before we had the real grade, I would have been really impressed by this. But now that we have the real grade, and by the way, I also just got mine in, it leaves me a little bit indifferent. I definitely prefer the real grade's proportions, at least going by the promotional images. As nice as the picture with the bazooka and the beam saber might be. Next up then is my favorite announcement, and by extension, the worst one for my wallet, the Metal Build Strike Noir. That is also going to come with a variety of weapons, and I really hope it's going to come with just as much weapons as the Master Grade. So a high quality action figure of one of my favorite Gundams definitely sounds like something I'm gonna have to put some money aside for. So far, we only have this image here of the silhouette, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more details about this thing. The Metal Build Providence Gundam came with slightly more information. They actually showed us a picture of the full design, and they also told us about how a special metal build mechanism is going to be used for the Dragoons. A similarly short announcement then was made for the Metal Build Gundam Astray Red Dragonics and the Sniper Pack, which can be used with the blue frame, although I'm fairly certain you'll also be able to jerry-rig it to the other things. In the case of the Dragonics, it's not telling us that much more since we did already have a nice look at the Red Dragonics prototype a couple of months ago, but I gotta be honest again here, as much as I like the vanilla red frame, the Dragonics definitely feels quite over-engineered, and it gets especially worse when you combine that with a line whose whole mechanic is like adding extra details, like even more details, and even more over-engineering the thing. But putting that aside, the final announcement from the Metal Build line was the announcement of an Aile Striker pack for the Strike Rouge Gundam. Then to go along with all of those Metal Build Gundam Seed releases, they also announced an SHFiguarts Kira Yamato that even comes with a pilot seat. And part of me definitely wants to get a couple of them and like repaint them in like Phantom Pain colors or the normal grunt colors and then pose them with my Alliance army. Whether or not I do that is definitely going to depend on the price. The buying multiple, that is. My plans for painting stuff never go anywhere anyways. Something that I then definitely won't be buying multiples of, or potentially not even one, is the metal structure Kaitai Shouki Sazabi that they showed off a bit more during the event. My business email is open for anyone who wants to sponsor me one of these things, or its predecessor is fine too, the Kaitai Shouki New Gundam. But back to stuff most of us will actually be able to buy, the Gundam Fixed Figuration Metal Composite line, which definitely seems back with a vengeance for our wallets. First of all, we have a bunch more images of the Wing Gundam Endless Waltz version early color version, and we also got a confirmation of the accessories and gimmicks that it'll come with. Honestly, nothing too surprising. This is basically everything I expected. It comes with the Buster Rifle, of course, with removable cartridges. It comes with a beam saber, a shield, and also extra cartridges that can be stored on the forearms. And yes, the thing can even transform into bird mode. All kidding aside, those images do look really impressive. I just hate how in this particular image, there's like a dent or like some kind of dirt on the background, and I legit for a second thought my laptop screen was like screwed up or something. And where there's a Wing Gundam, there is a Gundam Deathscythe. It's like yin and yang, heaven and hell. You can't have one without the other. You need balance in the universe. So soon you'll be able to get the Gundam Fixed Figuration Metal Composite Gundam Deathscythe Endless Waltz version. More details coming soon, I hope. Something we'll also hopefully get some more information on soon are two new Fixed Figuration Metal Composite Zakus, the Johnny Raiden High Mobility Type R2 and the Shin Matsunaga High Mobility Type R1A. Now, neither is listed as being from Gundam the Origin, but since I'm like 99% certain that these are remolds from the Black Tristar's High Mobility Type Zakus, which are branded as Gundam the Origin, it seems highly likely that this is going to be from Gundam the Origin. Also, there is the fact that the Johnny Raiden Zaku is using the bazooka from Gundam the Origin. For the Johnny Raiden version, we're of course getting overhauled legs, but another nice touch that I really like is that the spike armor is slightly spikier than that of the normal Zakus. The Chogokin model then that they showed off was the RX-78 F00 Gundam and Gundam Doc Elaborate model, but since Gundam.info didn't feel the need to elaborate on this thing, I won't either. For Hathaway's Flash fans then, we have the Robot Damashii KA Signature C Gundam Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway's Flash version. And I'm sure that some of you, just like me, are having a case of deja vu because we already have a regular Robot Damashii KA Signature C Gundam, and based on the single picture that we have available, some of the parts actually do look quite similar, like the legs, but then other things like the body and the head look completely different. So it's definitely going to be partially new, but I wouldn't completely rule out some remolding either. From the metal Robot Damashii then, we got one hell of a surprise. The Rigazi Custom. A mobile suit that you'll either remember as an actual transformable Rigazi, or that one mobile suit that has a giant Kalashnikov. I guess this awesome looking little thing is more popular than I thought it was, because I never would have expected this thing to get a metal Robot Damashii, like a normal Robot Damashii at best. And talking about normal Robot Damashis then, the RX-75 mass production type Guntank from the 08th MS team is getting a Robot Damashii version anime action figure. Finally, we're getting some kind of physical representation of this awesome looking Guntank. And it looks like it's going to be an awesome figure too. It even says that the treads are going to be movable, although I'm fairly certain this is in reference to the suspension system and not that it'll actually be able to drive. Just like what they did with the regular Guntank, basically. I just find it a bit sad that the promotional image they went with is the thing about to be stabbed by the Gouf custom. Like, come on guys, give the thing at least something. And of course that also means that the Gouf custom is about to get a Robot Damashii figure as well. If you need some backup then for your ground pounders, there is the Robot Damashii Site MS 08th Squadron Optional Part Set number 2 version anime. It'll include a hover truck, one or more DOPs, a gym head for your ground Gundam, and even small figures of Shiro and I think it's Kiki. Now, I could be mistaken, but I believe this is the first time that we're getting minifigs in the Robot Damashii line. And then finally, there is the Desert and Urban Diorama Pedestal and 2 more Robot Damashis for the Crossbone fans, the Anchor Gundam and the Phantom Gundam V2. And this was another thing that gave me like a case of deja vu, because I really felt like I covered this before. But then when I looked into it, it turned out that, well, I did cover the Gundams, but it was as an FW Gundam Converge set and not a Robot Damashii. So we're now getting them as full-sized big boys. And as if we hadn't gotten enough announcements already, from December 24th until January 16th, they will be holding the Gundam World Contrast in Nagoya. As you can see from the poster, this exhibit will be focusing on 2 of the more popular Gundam series out there, the original Gundam and Gundam Seed. In the event, you'll be able to do the usual things like look at background information, the history behind the series, and of course, purchase limited edition Gunpla. For 5,720 yen, 50 US, you can get the real grade RX-78-2 Gundam and Aile Strike Gundam set in Gundam World Contrast colors. A really nice take on the red versus blue concept. And it was definitely a good idea to make the RX-78-2 the red one, because now it kind of has that sharp feeling to it. And then for the Aile Strike, that thing has always had blue assigned to it, in contrast with the red Aegis and of course Atheron. Then for 5,280 yen, a little under 50 US, you can get the Master Grade RX-78-2 Gundam version 3.0 recirculation color and neon green colors, which is an interesting mix between neon green and dark gray. Then for 4,950 yen, 45 US, you can get the Master Grade Aile Strike Gundam version remastered, recirculation / neon pink colors. A color scheme that I personally definitely like better than that of the RX-78-2, but I still wouldn't say it is particularly awesome. Honestly, I think that these would have been better just in dark gray, but let me know down below what you think of them. They're definitely unique, I'll give them that, and I do wonder if that neon is actually also going to glow in the dark. I guess that would be a cool thing to have. Then there's also going to be a pre-sale of the entry grade Strike Gundam for 770 yen, 7 US, and together with your ticket, you can also get a limited edition Haropla for 1,900 yen, a little over 15 US, and regular tickets are 900 yen, about 7 US. And then finally, there's also some random stuff you can buy. A pair of clear files for 660 yen, 5 US, a Haro smartphone ring for 1,320 yen, 11 US, acrylic stands for 990 yen a piece, around 9 US, a can of chocolate balls for 1,240 yen, 10 US, and a really nice looking mug for 1,600 yen, around 15 US. And then for the final time, we were able to get our weekly Gundam Breaker Battlogue fix, and they definitely decided to end the series in style. It's the longest episode of the bunch, almost twice as long as the third episode, and again, we got some really nice action going on. As always, if you haven't seen it, I will have it linked down below, and I highly recommend that you try the series. It's super self-aware and it's a blast to watch. This time around, I really liked it how they were able to hack into the AI pilots and then turn them against the big bad guy for some nice karma. Not to mention how awesome the battle itself was, with everyone fighting together to defeat a Gigantamaxed Barbatauros. This was then followed by a really cool ending scene with the RX-78-2. And again, we also got some nice references, like the ground Gundam firing its cannon, Force. And of course, the Nether Gundam appearing at the end. It's always nice to see the northern neighbors showing up in an anime. With how many appearances this thing has been making, by the way, it also makes me wonder when it's going to be getting a model kit. I think it would be cool as one of those portable fans as well. But anyways, the series as a whole might not have been too long, but I guess it's a case of quality over quantity because it was really fun to watch. Also, I definitely feel like that ending left the door open for more. So if it is popular enough, or in other words, if the model kit sold enough, I guess they might make a sequel to that. And talking about Gunpla sales, alongside the final episode, pre-orders on P-Bandai went live for 4 limited Gunplas from this series. For 1,980 yen, a little under 20 US, there is the high-grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion, Gouf Crimson Custom, and Gundam Ground Urban Combat Type. And then for 1,870 yen, 15 US, you can get the high-grade Wing Gundam Sky Zero. Again, keep in mind that outside of Japan, these will be released as normal releases. And then finally, reservations opened up for the Yoshikazu Yasuhiko / Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin exhibition book. For 3,850 yen, around 35 US, this 208-page thick compendium can be yours in late January 2022. And amongst the approximately 5,000 manuscripts included in the book, there will also be unpublished, like previously unpublished, and new material. So definitely something to get for the big Gundam The Origin fans. And then of course, there is one more news item that I covered to promise this week. UC Engage, the upcoming Gundam smartphone gacha game. And to make a long story very short, if you're familiar with any kind of gacha game, you basically know what UC Engage is going to be. You make a squadron of 6 mobile suits piloted by 6 pilots, all of which can of course be acquired through the ancient art of gacha pulling. And as you probably expected, they range in rarity from normal to ultra rare. Now, I do have some good news here for people who like grunts, myself included. Typically, you would expect grunts to be either normal or, like, maybe with a few exceptions, rares, but I saw some grunts listed as super rare, including something that even looks like a vanilla gym. Now granted, if you look at this picture here, you will see that the top half is somewhat cut off, so that might be the dual beam saber commander variant, but that is still some really good news. Now, in case you're wondering why this is relevant, with most of these kinds of games, units with a rarity of normal, and sometimes even rares, really only serve as upgrade fodder for more expensive units. Like, normal units, you're not gonna want to use them in the actual game. So knowing that I can make a potentially viable squadron of gyms is honestly definitely gonna make me want to try out the game. Then as for the gameplay, before the battle, you place your units on a grid, kind of in accordance with their combat roles and with which enemies you want them to engage, and then you simply have them duke it out by themselves. Now, you do have the option of manually activating the X skills, but let's face it, most of the times you're gonna be playing this game like either on the toilet while you're doing something else, or when you just don't want to do anything at all. In fact, it seems that you're going to have more control over the camera than the actual battle. You can place it on your favorite machine, or you can simply pull it back all the way and have it flying over the battlefield to see everything that's happening. Now, what really worries me though is the frame rate. It looks pretty low to begin with, and it drops regularly. In the promotional video where you're supposed to show us how awesome this new game is going to be. So ideally, you would be playing this on the best hardware you could find, which then makes me worried how this is going to run on older or weaker smartphones if this is already your showcase of what it can do. But then to go back to some of the cooler aspects, in the game you can of course play through the official stories, including some news stories for Moon Gundam, Anna Velgato, Amuro, Johnny Raiden, and even a brand new character called Peche Montagne. And from the footage, it appears that she's going to be piloting the Brarello, a really obscure unit that you can learn more about in my Zacrello development history, linked on screen right now. So at the end of the day, I'm carefully optimistic. It looks like it's going to be your average gacha game, but with a really cool coat of Gundam paint. Then there's some new stories, and of course the possibility of having an Advance of Zeta event in the future. The final hurdle to overcome then is the region lock. If you want to check out some of those new animations for those new stories, I will have the promotional videos linked below, as well as my link to NordVPN, because, well, you're gonna need that to check them out. And by using my link down below, you'll get a nice discount and you'll be supporting the channel. As for the things you could get this week then, the big one was of course the Master Grade Gundam Virtue, which launched on Thursday, or today at the moment of recording, for a whopping 8,800 yen, 80 US, but for that price you're of course getting an extremely impressive figure, which can be displayed as either the Chonky Virtue or the Agile Nodley. Action base sold separately. The Blu-ray then for Hathaway's Flash launched at various venues for various prices with various different options. And then for some reading material, you could pick up the weekly Gundam Mobile Suit Bible, this time featuring my favorite gigantic Gundam, the Destroy Gundam. You could also go for Wild River's GE World 2nd, featuring a really nice hospital dome on the cover, the January issue of the monthly model graphics with a beautiful Deedlit figure on the cover, or the January issue of the monthly Hobby Japan that features an absolutely incredible diorama of Solomon. Like, whoa, dude, what the hell? That looks awesome. In other news then, both the Walking RX-78 Gundam and the Transforming Unicorn Gundam statue will be receiving special winter illuminations. While we probably won't be able to see that of the RX-78 live ourselves, because it ends on December 31st, we might be able to see that of the Unicorn, because that one will last until February 13th. And with that, it is already time to have a look at the Gundam Café news, because for once, we don't have any Gundam apparel to look at. So starting last week Friday from the Gundam Café online, you could get a 5 ballpoint pen set for 1,760 yen, 15 US, which includes a Gundam, Shard Zaku, regular Zaku, Gouf, and Dom pen, all of which have black ink. For 3,520 and 30 US, you could get a green Gundam Café bottle, and finally for 748 yen, around 6-7 US, you could get 3 types of Yojote curing tape, which is stronger than masking tape, but easier to pull off than regular gum tape. The 3 designs are Anaheim Electronics, Zeonic, and Gundam Seed. And then today, they started selling 4 really fancy looking lacquer bottles in classical Japanese style. We have 2 color options, black and gold and vermilion and gold, and 2 design options. The first one is the RX-78-2X Great Wave of Kanagawa, and the second one is the RX-78-2 and Char's Zaku 2 as Fujin and Raijin, or the God of Wind and the God of Thunder respectively. And then finally, if you need some more pens, Sunstar will be releasing 12 types of Big Click Gold 0.5mm pens. They're scheduled for a late December release, will set you back 440 yen each, around $4 US, and they include most of the major UC factions and companies. There is the Earth Federation Space Forces, Zeon, Titans, AU, Londo Bell, Neo Zeon, Anaheim Industrial College, Vist Foundation, Anaheim Electronics in yellow, Anaheim Electronics in blue, Zeonic, and Zimmod. And that has been all for this week's Gundam news. Again, if you want to do some Black Friday shopping, the link to Hobbling Japan is down below. And as always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great evening, and I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.